Look inside your kitchen cabinet right now. What do you see? A collection of powders and seeds meant to make your dinner taste a little better? Or are you actually looking at a highly sophisticated molecular laboratory? Today, the wellness world is completely obsessed with expensive supplements, extreme biohacking protocols, and complex longevity stacks. But what if the secret to cellular signaling, managing inflammation, and optimizing your metabolism has been sitting in our grandparents' spice boxes for centuries? Could everyday ingredients like turmeric, black pepper, garlic, and cinnamon actually influence our biological aging?
It is a fascinating question, and honestly, it is one of the most exciting intersections of ancient tradition and modern molecular biology. But right off the bat, we need to set the record straight. Spices are incredibly powerful bioactive foods, but they are not a replacement for medicine. Eating turmeric is not going to magically cure a disease. Swallowing black pepper does not guarantee you will live to be 100, and taking a curcumin supplement won't instantly vaporize all your aging cells. If we want to get real benefits, we have to look past the wellness hype.
Exactly. We need to bridge the gap between that hype and actual science. Because we hear these buzzwords everywhere: curcumin, autophagy, mTOR pathways, inflammation. So let's start at the very beginning. You called these spices bioactive foods. Why should we look at a spice rack as a molecular toolkit rather than just a flavor enhancer?
Because spices are essentially the chemical defense systems of the plant kingdom. Think about it. Plants can't run away from predators. They can't hide from insects, microbes, or harsh UV radiation. To survive, they manufacture these brilliant bioactive molecules. When we consume these plant compounds, they don't just provide calories. They act as biological signals inside our own bodies. We are talking about curcumin in turmeric, piperine in black pepper, gingerols in ginger, and sulfur compounds in garlic. When you eat them, you are literally downloading environmental information into your cells.
I love that analogy. Food isn't just fuel, it's a software update for our biology. So let's talk about the most famous update of all: turmeric, or more specifically, curcumin. Why has this specific golden molecule taken over the entire health industry?
Curcumin is the primary polyphenol compound found in turmeric, and the research around it is staggering. It has been studied extensively for its role in modifying inflammation pathways, reducing oxidative stress, and supporting metabolic health. At a cellular level, curcumin can actually influence something called the NF-kB pathway, which is a major driver of chronic inflammation in the body. But here is the catch, and it is a big one. Curcumin has terrible natural bioavailability. If you just eat a spoonful of raw turmeric, your body absorbs almost none of it. It just passes right through you.
Which means all those people drinking plain turmeric water in the morning might just be wasting their time.
Not entirely useless because it still interacts with the gut microbiome, but from a systemic absorption standpoint, it is highly inefficient. This is where we have to separate traditional food wisdom from modern supplement culture. The turmeric you use in cooking is part of a complex food matrix. A high-dose curcumin pill is a concentrated extract. They behave very differently in the body.
That brings us perfectly to the ultimate biohacking pairing: turmeric and black pepper. We are always told to combine them. Is that actually grounded in science?
It is, absolutely. Black pepper contains an active compound called piperine, and piperine is famous for its ability to dramatically boost the bioavailability of curcumin. It essentially slows down the liver's ability to clear the curcumin from your bloodstream, allowing your body to actually use it. But here is where the danger lies. More is not always better. Because piperine slows down drug metabolism pathways, it doesn't just boost curcumin, it can boost the absorption of pharmaceutical drugs too.
Oh, wow. So if someone is on blood thinners or blood pressure medication, taking a massive dose of a piperine supplement could actually cause an accidental overdose of their medication?
Precisely. A pinch of black pepper in your curry is perfectly safe and culinary genius. But buying concentrated piperine capsules and stacking them with other supplements without medical supervision, that is reckless biohacking.
It is a perfect example of how extracting one molecule from a whole food can completely change the safety profile. Let's pivot to a concept that is everywhere in the longevity space right now: autophagy. Everyone wants to trigger it. First, what exactly is it?
Autophagy translates literally to self-eating. It is your cell's internal recycling and cleanup system. Over time, our cells accumulate junk, damaged proteins, old organelle, metabolic waste. Autophagy is the process where the cell sweeps up that garbage, breaks it down, and recycles the parts to build new, healthy structures. It is vital for cellular maintenance and longevity. But, just like curcumin, it has been massively overhyped.
Right? The narrative right now is fast for days, drink black coffee, maximize autophagy at all costs. But is constant cleanup actually a good thing?
Not at all. Biology is entirely about balance. Imagine a city where all the garbage trucks are constantly running, tearing down buildings to recycle the bricks, but no one is actually building anything new. Your body needs growth, it needs repair, it needs to build muscle and maintain immune function. Autophagy is tied to cellular stress and fasting. Spices can indirectly influence the pathways that trigger this cleanup, but the idea that eating a spicy meal instantly flips the autophagy switch is a gross oversimplification.
That leads us right into the mTOR pathway, which is basically the opposite of autophagy, right? It is the builder.
Exactly. mTOR is a nutrient sensing pathway. When you have plenty of nutrients, energy, and insulin, mTOR tells the body, times are good, let's grow. It promotes protein synthesis and muscle building. If you want to recover from an injury or build strength, you absolutely need mTOR. The problem arises with modern lifestyles. Chronic overeating, constantly high insulin, and a sedentary lifestyle mean mTOR is switched on all the time. In longevity science, constant unchecked growth is a major concern because it accelerates aging.
So the goal isn't to demonize mTOR and suppress it forever, but to create a rhythm, a season for growth and a season for cleanup.
You hit the nail on the head. If you are an older adult, losing muscle mass is one of the biggest threats to your lifespan. You need mTOR to keep that muscle. We need feeding and fasting, training and recovery. It is a biological symphony, not a single note.
Let's talk about how deep these spices can actually reach. I've seen claims that spices can influence our epigenetic signaling. Are we saying that a dash of cinnamon can actually change how our DNA behaves?
It sounds like science fiction, but yes, to an extent. Epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. You aren't changing your underlying DNA sequence, but you are changing the dimmer switches, turning certain genes up or down. Plant polyphenols, alongside sleep, exercise, and stress management, can influence these epigenetic mechanisms. But again, let's be responsible. Eating garlic won't rewrite your genetic code overnight. It provides modest, cumulative signals over a lifetime of a balanced diet.
It is the compound interest of nutrition. Speaking of aging, we have to talk about senescent cells. They are often called zombie cells. What are they? And can our spice rack fight them?
A senescent cell is a cell that has stopped dividing but refuses to die. In the short term, this is actually a defense mechanism to stop a damaged cell from turning cancerous. But as we age, these zombie cells accumulate. They just sit there secreting toxic, inflammatory signals that damage the healthy cells around them. The longevity field is currently obsessed with senolytics, therapies designed to hunt down and clear out these zombie cells.
And let me guess, the internet is claiming that ginger and turmeric are miracle senolytics?
Exactly, which is scientifically irresponsible. While the phytochemicals in spices are of great interest in longevity research because they help calm the inflammatory noise created by these zombie cells, they do not physically dismantle or eliminate them. Spices support a healthier cellular environment. They are not a targeted medical strike.
That inflammatory noise you mentioned, that is what we call inflammaging, right? The slow, silent burn of chronic inflammation that accelerates biological aging.
Yes, chronic, Low-grade inflammation is the common denominator for almost every age-related decline. It affects your metabolism, your brain, your joints, your skin, and your sleep. This is where Indian spices truly shine. Turmeric, garlic, cinnamon, cloves, they all have potent anti-inflammatory potential. But let's be logical. If you are sleeping 4 hours a night, eating ultra-processed foods, and living in a state of chronic stress, sprinkling some turmeric on your fries is not going to save you.
You can't outspice a terrible lifestyle. But if you do have a good foundation, how do we maximize the benefits? Because in traditional Indian cooking, spices are rarely used alone. There is always a blend. Is there a synergy happening in the cooking pot?
There is an incredible culinary intelligence at play. Spices are almost always cooked in fat like ghee or oil, which immediately solves the bioavailability problem for fat-soluble compounds like curcumin. They are exposed to heat, which releases the active oils. They are combined. You see turmeric, black pepper, and fat together. You see cumin, coriander, and ginger. This synergy means the compounds interact, support digestion, and enhance absorption. It is chemistry in a frying pan.
It really makes you respect the wisdom of our ancestors. They didn't know the word phytochemical, but they knew exactly how to extract them. So, if we were to build a practical, everyday molecular toolkit, what are the heavy hitters we should focus on?
Let's keep it entirely food-based. Number 1 is turmeric for curcumin and inflammatory signaling. 2 is black pepper for piperine and absorption. 3 is ginger, which is incredible for digestion and nausea, packed with gingerols. 4 is garlic. Its sulfur compounds are highly researched for cardiovascular health. 5 is cinnamon, which shows great promise for glucose metabolism, though you shouldn't consume massive amounts of it. 6 is fenugreek, which provides soluble fiber and helps blunt glucose spikes. And finally, things like cloves, cumin, coriander, and mustard seeds, which stimulate digestion and provide powerful antioxidant capacities.
That is quite the lineup. But as we discussed earlier, the biohacking community tends to take a list like that and immediately buy pill versions of every single one. What is the danger of the extract mindset versus the whole food mindset?
The risks are very real. High doses of curcumin extracts can cause gastrointestinal distress, aggravate gallbladder issues, or interact with medications. We already mentioned piperine altering drug absorption. Certain types of cinnamon, if taken in high-dose capsules, contain coumarin, which can actually cause liver damage. Garlic supplements can act as powerful blood thinners, which is dangerous if you are heading into surgery. Food-level spices are generally very safe. Supplement-level extracts require medical guidance.
It is a profound shift in perspective. Ayurveda looked at food based on digestion, season, and body constitution. Modern science looks at it through the lens of epigenetics and microbiomes. But they are essentially arriving at the exact same conclusion.
They really are. The most responsible way to approach this is to respect the traditional wisdom while validating it with modern evidence. We avoid exaggerated claims, we take a food-first approach, and we listen to our own biological feedback.
Speaking of biological feedback, how do we actually know if this is working? If someone is wearing a health tracker, like an OXYZEN ring, they aren't going to see a turmeric score. How does spice intelligence show up in the data?
You won't see the spice, but you will see the systemic echo of a better lifestyle. If you are eating heavy, processed, unspiced foods late at night, your tracker will show a high resting heart rate, low heart rate variability, and poor recovery. But if you shift to balanced meals with synergistic spices, fiber, and good fats, your digestion improves. When digestion improves, your sleep architecture stabilizes. Your body temperature trends normalize. The ring doesn't measure the food, it interprets the state of your nervous system. It is about health intelligence, not just raw tracking.
I love that. Measure the meaning, not just the data. To wrap this up, let's give people a practical 7-day reset. How can someone integrate this spice intelligence into their week starting tomorrow?
Keep it simple and intuitive. Day 1. Add turmeric, cumin, garlic, and ginger to your lentils or soup. Day 2. Try a roasted cumin drink after lunch to aid digestion. Day 3, incorporate mustard seeds or fenugreek into your vegetable dishes. Day 4, swap out the heavy sugary coffee for a ginger and cardamom tea. Day 5, keep dinner light, maybe a turmeric-based broth. Day 6, ditch the processed chips and snack on roasted chickpeas tossed in spices. And day 7, combine the spices with movement. Take a 10-minute walk after every spiced meal. While you do this, just pay attention. Track your energy, your bloating, your sleep quality, and your mood.
It is such an empowering way to look at food. We aren't just eating to satisfy hunger. We are communicating with our cells. We are sending signals of repair, balance, and resilience. The Spice Box isn't just a culinary tool. It is a bridge between ancient wisdom and the absolute cutting edge of longevity science. Thank you for breaking down the molecular magic hidden in plain sight. To everyone listening, the next time you cook, remember, you are the scientist and your kitchen is the lab. Stay curious, and we will see you in the next episode.